welcome to our second event of Sisters in Solidarity. And this month, we've got three lovely speakers who are going to be addressing motherhood and the different challenges that we face. Sisters in Solidarity is a monthly discussion where we get women and girls around the Middle East to discuss the everyday issues that we face and have to deal with as women. And we're creating this safe space in order to be able to understand that we are not alone in our struggles, and through unity and community, we can work together to have a better everyday life. So we're going to start with our guest speakers. They're going to give you a quick introduction, and then we'll get right into voicing motherhood. So we'll start with Yesenia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yesenia Navarro. I'm Mexican and have been living in Qatar for almost 10 years. I'm the mother of three beautiful, big boys. The CEO of Casa Johara is a clothing brand, but I'm also the Mexican community leader for Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, and I do many other things. My life is a salad, and I do a little bit of everything. And thank you so much to everyone that is joining this conversation.
Oh, hi, everyone. So my name is Narges. I'm a French-Tunisian living in Qatar for the past 10 years as well now. Wow. I'm also a mother of three, but my kids are smaller than Yesenia. So I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old now. I am an editor for several publications here in Qatar, and I'm heavily involved in all the community scene happening in Qatar. I am also trying to help and support as much as possible women-led projects, and that's why I'm here today.
Hello, everyone. This is Dima. I've been living here in Qatar for the past 6 years. I work in marketing and business development in Martians Media Production. I am basically a new mom. I'm a mom of a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old baby, 2 girls. And I'm so excited to be with you guys today. I hope we can touch as many women, as many people that need to hear this today.
Thank you. So what we're going to start off now with is our first round of questions, which is for Narges. What is the most unexpected thing you love about motherhood that you didn't expect?
The thing that I love about motherhood and I didn't expect is the shift in my priorities. So the moment I became a mother, it redefined me as a woman. So I really like the fact that it was kind of a wake-up call for me because it allowed me to go back to basics. I was someone who used to always overthink and always, pick on little details and everything. And now the fact that I became a mother, I thought that, I would give birth and resume my career and go on with my life. Absolutely not. It has shifted like a lot of things in me, in my life, and also in my values. It has also allowed me to discover myself, what I really wanted, and also what I don't want in my life anymore. So this is also a very positive point for me when I became a mother. And I guess I love the responsibility coupled with, endless love. And yeah, I'd like to think that also as a worker, I become more efficient because now my time was precious and someone else relied on me. So I needed to make sure that, my energy and my focus was directed to the right cause. I couldn't lose my time and my energy anymore for things that didn't really matter when I had a life to take care of, if that makes sense.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. You've got Dima. So with your question, Han, how important is a support system for motherhood? So you've said you were a new mom and kind of transitioning from one space to another space. Just take us through the whole journey with you and let us know what do you think, how crucial is whether it's family, whether it's friends, anybody.
Well, we all can agree that going into motherhood is somehow you will face a lot of things that you didn't expect before. Yeah, so the most important part is to identify your support system. Like you need to know who are the people you need to go to, who are the people you can call whenever you need help, who are the people that will support you, who are the people that will not make you feel judged at any time. So that's the main important thing. the first person that's going to play this role is definitely your partner, because he's the person that's always available on call, always available at home, always next to you. So it's very important to have a partner. That's why I always tell my friends, like, whenever you decide to get married, just think that this person is going to be the father of your kids one day. So it's very important to be able to to have a partner that's supportive. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes moms are single also. So in that case, you need to identify. Sometimes it's your mom, it's your best friend, it's a group of girls, it's a group of friends. I don't know. You need to identify that these are my people. These are the people I can run to when I need the support. There's a lot of emotional struggle, and a lot of moms go, especially at the beginning, through postpartum depression, or sometimes just baby blues, which is only 2 weeks. So even if it's 2 weeks or as complicated as a postpartum depression, you need to have people that you can rely on, people that you wouldn't mind be smelling like puke all over and be crying on their shoulders, you know. So these are the people you need. As far as you can identify, okay, this is the person, this is my buddy, this is the person I can rely on. And most of the times it is a mom. Sometimes it's not, but because moms have been through that, so they can absorb, they can understand what you're going through. Identifying your support system is the most important part. They don't have to be like 10 people. It could be just one person or two maybe. So identify who they are and tell them, you are my support system. I'm going to be needing you in my bad times. I'm going to be needing you even when I'm happy, because it's a very wide spectrum of emotions that you go through, especially at the beginning. So just tell them, can I count on you to become my support system? And they will tell you, yes, for sure. So identify them and stick to them, because they are what are going to help you get through this period of time.
Did you find communicating for once you have identified them? What would be one tip you'd give in communicating that? What has helped you in terms of your approach?
Well, my best friend, my friend that I had since school, she became a mom 8 years before me. So she was the one that was telling me, you need a support system. She was helping me a lot. You need someone, even if it's your mom, your husband, whatever. So for some reason, I confided in her because she was giving me all the tips before I even go into them.
Yes.
So I told her, like, are you willing to hear all these nagging and all these negativity? She said, I'm all there for you. So that helped me a lot. And sometimes I was surprised, like I begin to tell her the story and she knows the entire thing before I even tell her, you know, if it's teething, if it's baby getting sick or whatever. So she knows the whole scenario because she's been there. So that's why it made my communication easier, you know? It was just like, are you sure you want to be hearing me nagging all the time? She was so positive about it. And until today, even in the middle of the night, I just text her and she's there for me.
Mashallah.
And that helped me a lot, especially like, I think, Ayan, you know already, maybe a lot of you don't know, I have been through postpartum depression, not only baby blues. So I really emphasize that if it's your doctor or whoever, you still need a buddy next to you. You still need someone that you cannot tell your husband things. Like sometimes you want to say things even if you're depressed, you want to say things as hard as, I don't think I want to be a mom. You will say that sometimes if you're depressed. So you need someone that's able to listen to that without judging you, without saying, oh my God, she's crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I'm going through depression. So having this person helped me a lot to overcome my postpartum depression.
Thank you for sharing
So
that.
yeah.
And as we continue, we're going to go into that in a bit more detail so that we can truly understand what your experience was like for other girls that might.
Amazing. Yes, definitely. I would love that.
Yazinia, so you and your very, very busy life, what has been one habit that you gained through motherhood? So it's like you've got you that's running, that's doing, handling your multiple businesses and different aspects of things that you're doing. But how has being a mother supported you with that? And what is one habit you've gained? And how has it transformed your life?
So I will say, first of all, time management. I think when you are a mom, you become a multitasking. Like you have to multitask all the time. I become a mom very young age. I had my first child when I was 18 years old, almost 19. So being a teenage mom was very hard for me because I remember that I received so much negativity, not negativity from my family, but negativity from society.
Mm.
How all the people that they like, for example, at the beginning, I remember I was embarrassed to be pregnant because I was so young and I was still in university. My partner and me, we were very young. um, so society will always tell you this message of, oh my gosh. And I'm sure this message is not only for teenage moms, it's for any mom. Like this message of, if you have a child, your career is over, your life is going to change, you cannot do anything anymore, you have to stop dreaming, you have to stop this, you have to stop that. And I was completely 100% against that. Like I'm a dreamer, I'm a giver, I'm a person that I cannot live without my dreams. And I'm very ambitious. I always want more and grow more and learn more and travel more and have more babies and do many things in life. And for me, that message of you cannot do anything anymore because you are a mom, I don't understand why. Why, if my partner is a dad, why he can do all those things and why I cannot do that? Just because I was pregnant and I become big and I birth my babies, I was completely against that. Also, my 3 babies, they were premature. I actually had 4 pregnancies. I lost a baby, but my other 3 babies, they were premature, and I'm very blessed that they are here with me. And so I never become too big or too fat, but it was a struggle having very, very small babies. So one of habit that I create during my motherhood is, first, yes, I need to be multitask. I have to have a very good time management, and I have to see my kids as a motivation. My kids are my motivation every single day. I don't let anyone tell me I can do anything because I have kids. For me, my kids are my inspiration, my motivation. What I do every single day is because of them. I want my kids to grow up one day and say, "That's my mom." My mom wake up every single day, and everything she dream every day, she conquered. Because I can tell you, ladies, that everything I have always wanted, I did it, and no one gave it to me. I wanted to compete in Mrs. Universe. I applied to compete in the Mrs. Universe, and when I step in that stage, I already feel I was a winner. And everything I do, because for me, you don't have to get the crown to be a winner. Take the step to apply and to compete. You are already a winner. So everything I want to do in life, I just go for it. So my habit is, I don't listen to society. I don't listen to what every negative comment people have to say about being a mom. I have so many friends that they are mothers, and I'm very grateful to have them in my life. They are mothers, they are businesswomen, they are entrepreneurs, they support each other, and I'm so blessed for having all these ladies close to me, because I can see now how all of us have grown because
Mm.
we support each other. So don't listen to bad comments of society. Just focus on whatever your goal is, and use your kids as a motivation and inspiration. Don't use your kids as to get things. Just see them and just get inspired and motivated to
Wow.
go and follow your dreams.
That was really, really powerful. And I think it applies to a lot of things in our lives as women, where we're always told there's a glass ceiling. You can't do this or you can't do that. So for you to be able to have that skill to be like, no, actually, I'm going to make it happen. And not knowing as well, like you don't know you're going to make it. You just believe you're going to make it and you do
Exactly.
it. So that's really, really powerful. Thank you. We're going to go to our second round of questions, and we're going to go back to Dima. And you've mentioned you've had that challenge of postpartum depression. Was that what I just wanted to ask you, what didn't people tell you about pregnancy that you wish you knew? And I kind of want to see
Yeah.
if you knew about the postpartum depression and what you went through, and if you were in any way prepared for that.
Actually, thinking about it now, I wish people told me more about pregnancy, about motherhood rather than pregnancy. But if I recall, because we have women have this thing of forgetting details after pregnancy. But yeah, if I remember properly, I wasn't expecting that the nausea that I was gonna get was something that I've never experienced in my life. Like it's another level of nausea, which no one ever told me about, which I had it for a long time. And then there was this mood swings, and me being such an active person, I'm a person that doesn't sleep during the day. Like sleep for me is only for the night. I used to sleep everywhere. I used to sleep in the office. I used to sleep standing. Like it was all about sleeping. So nobody told me that. And nobody told me about the weight I was going to gain. Nobody told me about the even like the shape of the body, and all this. I was always saying one thing: oh my God, I cannot wait until I deliver and my life goes back to normal. Little did I know that it will never go back to the way it was before pregnancy. Never. Not in a bad way. No, it's an amazing thing, but it's not the same. You're a totally different person the moment this baby comes. So yeah, pregnancy was a surprise, but also I thought that that was the hardest part. I was like, okay, now I'm in the hardest stage of motherhood. Once this is done, everything's gonna go back to normal. And no, then came motherhood, and that was the real shock for me, because I was reading a lot. I'm a person that reads about everything. So I knew that there was baby blues and I was experiencing them. And I was like telling myself, okay, Dima, this that you're feeling now, it's not real. It's your hormones. You're going through baby blues. It will end after 2 weeks. And I was looking for that date. Like, okay, now I'm in 10 days. Now I'm in 12 days. Now I'm in 2 weeks, and this still didn't go. And then 2 weeks became 3 weeks, and then it became a month, and then 2 months, and it was getting worse and worse. I was feeling like, one moment, I'm happy, I love my baby, like everybody knows, it's not a question. But the amount of negative thoughts you get when you're into this postpartum depression, it's crazy. So I was like, okay, something is not right. This is not me. I love my baby so much, but why am I crying all day? Why am I, instead of, like, for no reason, you're just looking at your baby and suddenly you're crying for more than 3 months. So then I realized that, okay, I think I have postpartum depression. And I spoke to many experts, and okay, they help you, they listen to you. You have to see an expert. But I realized from my experience that no one's going to be able to help you if you don't decide to help yourself. So that's when I took the decision. It was like 4 or 5 months after Skylar was born, my first baby. And I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. This is not the life that I want. I love my baby and I don't want her to be living with a depressed mom. I have to do everything I can to get out of this. That was my turning point. Not seeing the doctors, not reading, not telling everyone. Everything helped in its way, but my turning point was the moment that I decided I don't want this anymore. So I started to recall, okay, what are the things that used to make me happy before becoming a mom? I remember dancing was one of them. I don't know, anyone can have anything that makes them happy, but for me it was dancing. I used to teach salsa. I used to be a salsa instructor. I never did that since the day I was pregnant. So I was like, okay, let's do that. Okay, I can keep Skylar with her daddy. I can keep her with a babysitter. I'm gonna go dancing. And I remember I cried the first time I went dancing because, oh my God, I did something that makes me happy. um, I was so involved into taking care of a baby that scared me, because when she was born, I was even scared to give her a shower because I was alone. No one was with me to help me. I was so scared and everything. I was treating her like a ball of crystal, like, oh my God, I cannot move away from her. I used to carry her seat to take her with me to the toilet. That's how afraid I was. That's how depressed I was. So I was like, no, I need to change. I need to stop this. And the first day when I went dancing, I realized, like, okay, she's fine. Nothing happened to her. She's with her daddy. And I did something that made me happy. And I went back to her happy, which also affected her in a good way. Then I started listing down the things that I need. I need to have a pedicure, have a manicure. I need to do my hair. I need to dye my hair, which I haven't dyed for like months. So I started listing the things that make me happy. And then I was like more involved into my work, more involved into my activities, more involved into the daily life without compromising anything. Like, I wasn't giving her less attention. No, she was getting all the care that she needs, but I was just adding to my routine, to my schedule, things that make Dima happy, things that will make me remember who I used to be before being a mom. And when I did that, that was when I started getting out of depression.
Wow.
Then came second baby, Chloe. And since the moment I was pregnant with Chloe, I wrote a blog and I wrote everything that happened with me to be able to read it when Chloe comes, so that I don't go into this experience again. And I found out that this article that I wrote helped a lot of moms who were going through that and didn't know a way out. Like, everybody tells them, okay, invest in your happiness, invest in your activities, but they didn't know how to do that. Like, I don't have the time, I cannot manage, I cannot. So I started helping other women, like, no, like, think of one thing that makes you happy that you're not being able to do now, and find time for only one thing. It's baby steps. It's always baby steps. Start with one thing and then increase throughout your routine. And that was exactly what
Oh
helped.
my gosh, thank you so much for even being vulnerable. Like that's a character that shows the character and strength that you have for being able to be vulnerable and share this in order to help others. So thank you so much for that. And now just having just heard that, do you think we undermine the changes a woman experiences?
Oh, definitely. Because there's not only the physical changes, there are also the mental changes, the psychological changes, but also I'd like to call them the societal changes, because I'd like to touch on something. Because when when a woman becomes a mother, so she has a responsibility, she has an added pressure because she has to mainly keep that tiny thing alive. And this is not something that's like, not everybody knows that. And I'm thinking now for first time moms, and especially now in terms of COVID and pandemic, when people are a bit isolated, maybe you cannot have access to help, and you cannot have access maybe to your mom to show you or to help you or to educate you. So this is something extremely important, and that we need to talk about it. And I also encourage every woman, mother, first time mother, to reach out to other mama, because usually they are the one who can guide you through it, even if circumstances you cannot have maybe a family member by choice, by fate, by circumstance. Maybe you can still reach out to that circle of mama, as I believe Dima mentioned it in the first question. But I also, the changes for me that was really unexpected is in terms of dynamics, because for instance, when domestic work and parenthood, motherhood is handled mostly by one parent, which is usually the mother, without being compensated like monetary or materially, there is kind of a precarity. There is something happening to this parent, while the other automatically gets wealthier and more in control, if that makes sense. So this is an issue that needs to be addressed, because I've seen, I've witnessed, and I was one myself. I had to stop working at one point to take care of my two first babies, because they were really close in age. So this is like, it was a choice, but I wish there was a way, or there was a solution or an issue to not just give up myself for this 4 or 5 years and just become only a mom. I wish I could have had like a little bit of material independence or something like that. So this is like, I think this is a shift that I didn't expect, and this is the change that I didn't expect to happen, because everybody tells you about the lack of sleep and this and that, but no one tells you about the status in the society. And when you, I don't know, I guess it depends every character, but when you're like an independent person and you've been like raised to like to like handle yourself, it's really difficult. Like, it was really challenging for me to ask for my husband for money, for this, for that. Like, it's really something that's need to be addressed and considered, because when you're blessed to have a support of your other one and doesn't take advantage of this situation, is good. But sometimes not everyone has this. So this is something that I wanted to address as well. And of course, the mental health, the mom guilt as well, because as Dima said, self-care and pursuing careers, ways and everything can tend to mom guilt, and this is something that we need to address. That self-care is actually healthcare.
And you've honestly touched on a lot of key points, in the sense of there's that whole thing about your status changing. There's the whole thing of also unpaid care. I feel like
Yes.
the mom guilt also comes from that, where you're expected to do more as a mother, and you're expected to also try to manage your own life, and it's just on an entire expectation. And just, I'm sure, Yazinia, you've also kind of gone through similar challenges in some way or another as a mother. But I wanted to kind of touch on the children now. So how has building a relationship with your children worked in this, through all these challenges and as such? Because we have them in the picture as well while we're going through all of these challenges.
Exactly. For me, is as Najes mentioned, it's really hard to control all of the situation. I have been with my husband for so many years, and and I have very big older kids now, but I have been always very independent. I think because I started working since I was very young. I was 12 years old when I started working, because my I always have a good life, but it was not a wealthy life, and I always wanted to have more. So I started working when I was very young, and I never stopped working. But during all this time of being a very young mama, teenage mom, and having my first preemie child, and then the second one premature as well, and losing a baby between these two, and having the third one also premature, and all of them very close together. So I think I was 23 or 24 when I already had four pregnancies and three babies. My way of building my relationship with my kids is completely different to any other mom. My kids are very good boys. They are so easy to teach, so easy to educate. Of course, I'm a very strict but easy mom, because I become a mom at a very young age. I think I was like a girl with a toy, or I was playing, because I also was living abroad. My mom wasn't there all the time. Um, my kids, if you see a picture of my children, my oldest son is taller than me. My second son is almost my height, and the other one is almost here. So sometimes we are walking on the mall and people think they're my little brothers. And that's cool. Why? Because I was able to do so many things with my children when they were babies. I have so much energy and so much time, and I have so many pictures that I can show you, that I was going to McDonald's and my kids were on the playground and I was with them. So there are so many things that I did with my children. We explore together, we learn together, and there is different ways that moms learn. For example, there are moms that they don't want to know everything. Like my sister, she don't want anyone to say anything to her. She doesn't want anyone to tell her how to educate or how to raise her children or how to be a mom. But for me, it was different. For me, I wanted to know everything. I want everyone with experience to tell me how they did it, how they manage time, how they breastfeed, how I can avoid having less hours of sleep at night, for example. I love my sleep. So I wanted to sleep more, how I can do it. So I always ask for tips on how to keep my baby sleeping more time. But it's different. So if you ask me how my relationship with my kids is completely different to Narja's way, or to Dima's way, or to any other mom's way, because there is not a book of how to become or how to be a mom, and there is not a book on how you can build relationship with your kids. My kids are different ages. I have an 18-year-old, 14-year-old, and 11-year-old. My 14-year-old is getting me trouble now, and my 18-year-old did at the same age. And now my relationship with my oldest son is so cool and so nice, and we can talk and we're friends. And now my 11-year-old is a preteen that is also very naughty. So the age of the kids influence on your relationship. That doesn't mean that you are a bad mom. When my kids were like 13, 14 years old, they became very rebel, and they question everything, and they are always like want to know why you say those things. They feel they are always right. They feel that no one loves them, and it's really hard, because now when you see around the world all this depression in kids and suicide and so many bad things, parents, we become very scared on how we can teach our children. But that's wrong, because we need to teach them with love, of course. So it's hard, but now I understand that if my son is rude with me because we don't understand each other, that doesn't make me a bad mom. But I can tell you that one day when my kids grow, they will look back and they will say, my mom did everything for us, and she loved us and teach us with love. And yes, maybe when we travel, I force them to go to the museum. But when they grow, they will be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I travel, I went to these places. My mom forced me, but I did it.
Right. And I feel like that also goes with us as well. As we become adults, we realize all the different advices our moms used to give us that we used to ignore when we were younger. And now that we're older, we're like, wow, mom was right. Da-da-da. So completely resonate with that. No, just having heard, you've mentioned, you touched on this, I think, a bit, but seeing that there is a lack of support in a lot of spaces, how do you think the education, this is where we like send our children, this is where our kids spend most of the time, how can our education system and the healthcare system that's supposed to protect new moms and such, how can both of these sectors support moms better? So if you had a chance to change it all up, what is one thing you'll do in that healthcare system you think mothers need, and what's one thing you'll do in the education sector that mothers would be supported by?
Well, definitely, I would definitely make it more inclusive, because this is motherhood, but there is also a father in the picture. So include future dads in the conversation, include them in, like, you know, those courses that you do before, like childbirth and before when you're pregnant. But also in terms of education, I would I would have strongly liked to have trainings about baby care, because while it's important to focus on childbirth, this is also a small portion of motherhood. Motherhood is not only childbirth. You have classes about hypnobirthing, and this is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, but this is incomplete in my opinion, because you need to also make sure that a first-time mom can take care, and the first time dad actually, both can take care of a newborn, from basic stuff, like from what are my options for feeding my baby, or how do I bathe my baby, or how do I manipulate. I remember Dima said it's like crystal, but how do you manipulate a newborn? No one teaches you that. Like, there are ways to carry to carry a newborn and everything. So this all technical and practical things, I wish that there would be like an kind of an education classes, and for all, not only for mom, because I'm a mother of boys and girls. So for me, it's very, very important to have this conversation with my boy and my girls alike, because I want them both to be involved in this, and I want them hopefully to be better parents than this generation. So yeah, training is hugely missing in terms of organization, in terms of baby care, in terms of also mental wealth awareness as well, because you need to be able to recognize those signs, as Dima mentioned as well. Like, maybe because she read or something, but maybe someone else wouldn't have known that she was in a postpartum depression. So it's very important to talk about it, and to, you know, indicate what sign to look for, so that maybe if it happens to you, say, oh, this is happening to me, maybe I cannot sleep, or maybe I cannot eat, or maybe I have like always like in a bad mood or something. Maybe this is something that's happening to me. So for me, definitely in terms of education, more courses, more training, more practical, and also more focus on life with the baby after delivering.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really insightful. And it's just important. And that conversation about fatherhood, it's almost like anything to do with parents, automatically just think of a mother, forgetting that it took two to make this baby. I didn't go and just have it by myself. So thank you for bringing that in. And our second question is going to go to Dima, and it's about businesses and workplaces. We've mentioned a lot how we have to sacrifice our careers sometimes, and we have to basically do so much more than the father has to do. So how do you think businesses and workplaces can become conscious of the needs of mother after they return to work? And I also want to see if you've all kind of experienced some negativity after coming back to work after giving birth. So is there a difference between that, and how can we best support you?
Yes, definitely. In the business myself, I always remember when I first gave birth to Skylar, the things that I was facing were somehow like giving me fear of losing my job, because I was not sleeping, going sometimes to my work as a zombie, and I always used to think, okay, it's not their responsibility to put up with that. They are paying me so I can fulfill my job. They shouldn't care if I'm sleeping or not. They shouldn't care if my baby is sick. That's what I used to think, but that is wrong. And I realized that after a few months into going to my work, like, okay, I used to ask myself, why would they care? Okay, let me tell you why they should care. Because the moment you are hiring a person that became a mom, you have upgraded this employee automatically. How? You have an upgraded version of this employee, because this is an employee that's going to be multitasking, because that's the thing that we will be getting becoming a mom. that's an employee that's going to gain more responsibility, because automatically being a mom is more responsible for you. So you become more responsible in your life. You are gaining more feel of how important your job is, because you somehow need to support this child. So you're going to be more attached, more giving to your job. This is why enterprises and businesses should invest in the well-being of a mom after her delivery. I was very lucky to be working in a company that used to give all moms 3 months of maternity leave, even though we know some countries here, some businesses here, they only give 60 days. Even 3 months is nothing, to be very honest. That's not enough. We need more time for paid leave, for a mom to be able to gain perspective of the new things happening in her life, to be able to stand again on her feet. And a minimum of 6 months. And I know some countries they give 1 full year. The the amount of maternity leave we are getting here should be really considered, because it's not enough. Not enough for her physical well-being, not enough for her mental well-being, not enough for anything. It needs to be more than that. So this is the first thing. They should also start considering, like, okay, this duty that this employee as a mom needs to do should be done, right? It doesn't matter where it's done. Some people can do it from home. Some people can take less hours and fulfill a task in less hours. They don't have to be spending just 8 to 6 at the office if they can fill the job or fulfill a task in less than that. So at least at the first year, they should consider the amount of hours the mom is working. They should consider her well-being. They should also be able to give a support. And something that I thought about that day, how beautiful would it be if enterprises and businesses were able to have a daycare for mothers inside their premises? Like, imagine, like, a lot of moms, especially when the baby is sick, they cannot just stop the job because the baby is sick, but they need their baby with them. Imagine if we had a daycare for people, like, to be able to take their kids with them to work. It's only for a short period, and this is not something that's going to be giving less for the job. It's actually giving them more, because you are gaining a more responsible employee, an employee that has a fulfillment of the entire idea of how much I need to be responsible. And there also goes the financial help, because a lot of parents, like, might struggle financially having new kids. Maybe you can be able to give them a support system, maybe raises, maybe loans, maybe, I don't know. There's always a financial need that a mom needs, or a parent in general needs, when they become new parents. So these are things that really need to be taken consideration of, especially that I see a lot of new businesses. They say, I want to hire a new employee, but I want it to be a man. Because if I hire a woman, she's going to get married, she's going to get pregnant, and then the hustle's going to start. No, dear, no, honey. You are getting a more responsible employee. And plus, you cannot neglect half of the society. Your mom was a mother one day, which was going through maternity. Your sister, anyone from your family. We cannot just hire people based on, okay, I don't want someone that's going to get pregnant. Okay, I want a mother that has older kids. No, this is not an option. We have to consider motherhood. We have to respect that, and we have to respect a mother's right to be able to fulfill her career. So this is basically it.
And it's, I feel like it's really insane how we've normalized this. How is it
Yeah.
insane that we're okay with people? That is disrespectful, first and foremost,
Yeah.
for someone to question your ability, all your qualification, all your experiences, and for that to be dismissed because you brought a human being into the world. Like, you
Yes.
gave birth to a human being.
Unfortunately, it still happens. Unfortunately, it still happens.
It's, thank you so much. And we hope that with time we can eradicate that issue and have these daycare centers and have more support for mothers that are in their careers. So thank you so much for sharing that part. Yazinia, as a community leader, so we've heard about the business and we've heard about the healthcare aspect and making everything more inclusive. But what about as a community? What can our community do, whether it's raising awareness about these issues, whether it's being a voice for these women that are struggling in silence with depression and as such? What do you think we can do as a community to help better support mothers?
I think all over the world. I'm also the founder of one organization against domestic violence, violence to women. And what I've seen in society is the lack of education on these issues: violence, motherhood, working moms. And of course, for education, we need the support of government or the support of other organizations. And usually all these organizations are women that manage all these organizations. I think we need men supporting women as well, not only women supporting women. We need men, like I'm a mother of three boys, and I have friends that only have boys. And what I always tell to my boys is, I'm your mother. I give you life. Of course, as you mentioned, it takes two to make one baby, but it's our responsibilities to build responsible human beings, to build a man and not just a human that doesn't care about anything. So it's my responsibility as a mother to build men that respect women, and in the womanhood involves everything else: motherhood, working moms, everything else. I always tell to my children that they need to treat women as a flower, because flowers are beautiful, but they are also very fragile. So for me, it's very important to educate everyone, educate society against violence, because violence is an epidemic of society. So the moment we start educating our children at home, we are going to build a better community. We are going to build a better society, and we are going to build better countries. So for me, I think communities, for example, here in Qatar, I think we are very blessed and very lucky in so many ways. One is what Dima said. Maybe she got only 3 months. There are people that get less than that. But in my country, I think a woman only get 40 days. So you give birth and only have 40 days to stay with your child in your house. And this is not only in Mexico, it's all Latin America. So when we say, okay, there are so many things that we are lacking here in the Middle East, but there are so many things that we have. I have friends that they were pregnant, they have babies, and they give the maternity leave and they give paternity leave too. So mom and dad can stay at home for, I think, 3 months with their babies. This is amazing. Oh, another thing is me working with Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, supporting them with the World Cup. I've seen so many women working there, so many moms creating all these big, massive events. So I'm glad to see that the society is opening their eyes in a way to get more women involved. I don't know if they think, oh my gosh, she's a woman, she's going to get pregnant. I don't think they think that way, but it can happen. For me, as I mentioned at the beginning, my children are my motivation. They are my inspiration. I cannot think in other way. I cannot think that if I have kids, I can stop dreaming or growing or learning. And I have so many friends like Narges, like Dima, my friend Johara, my all my friends that are moms, and I've seen them growing so much and following their dreams and building a better society. That makes me feel proud, of course, but also I want more. I want more. I want to see more women involved, more moms involved. I want them to see that they can do more, not only because they are in another country, it's another country, they have no, they don't have their families in Qatar. Want to do something, you can do it, but you have to decide it to do it.
And I think you touched on one of the questions that we have from the audience, which is in terms of kind of managing and handling motherhood as expats where you might not have families in Qatar. And that's kind of one of the things that our organization, Voicing Voices and Gender Lens, is looking to do. To this information that you are all sharing with us, this content that you have shared, we just want to show you that we will continue to advocate for these causes. We will continue to talk about businesses and how they're supporting mothers, communities and how they're supporting mothers, partners and how they're supporting mothers. So thank you so much for everything you've currently shared. We've gone into our Q&A now. We're going to have a quick Q&A where I think we can only do one question due to the time. That we have here is from Sabika. How has COVID changed the way you manage your lives? Schedule formats are changing constantly. Work keeps shifting between the office and the home, and your children have different needs. So what is one thing that has helped you?
Okay. So for me, it's very easy. My kids are old. They are very independent. It didn't affect at all. For me, it's so much easy. But only with my youngest son that I have to be more there to put timings, separate the rooms, organize, like, because as the same way when you work, you you need to create your working space in your house. You have to do the same for your kids. You put every kid in one side, create their school atmosphere, and that's it. So that's how I work. Thanks to God, I have a nanny that helps me when I have to work, so it makes things easy. But if I don't have a nanny, I don't know what I will do. I think I respect all the moms that don't have a nanny, but that doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me feel that I need my nanny to help me. And at the beginning, I was feeling ashamed and embarrassed of having a nanny and being a working mom, but I don't feel that way anymore, because it's what I have to do to grow as a mom, as a woman, and as a human being.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dima?
Well, for me, it's not as easy as Yesenia mentioned because my kids are babies. So, but at the same time, recalling the previous lockdown that we had last year, I remember that that was the best thing that happened in my life because I was still working for not very long hours, but it was long enough to stay away for a long time from my daughter. And Skylar was beginning to take her first steps. She was beginning to say her first words. And most of the times I was worrying, like, oh my God, is she going to walk and I'm not going to be there? I'm going to be at the office. So then lockdown happened and I was able to experience all these things. I was there when she took her first step. I was there when she said the first word, and I was creating a small routine. There's no schools for 1 year old back then, but last year, I mean. So I was creating a routine, like, okay, this time we eat, this time we play, this time we go out for a walk close to the house. This time we do some songs. This time she do the alphabet. So I was creating her routine, and then now Chloe was born, and now Chloe's 6 months, and I was getting the same fear again because I'm back to work. Like, is she gonna say her first word? I'm not gonna be there, and now we're into lockdown again. So for me, it was a blessing. Lockdown was a blessing because I was able to spend this time with my kids before they go into school, and I was being able to do my work. Like now I'm isolated in one room. They are with their daddy. And also I have help at home, which I really need because I'm a working mom. So it's just creating your routine, being able, and I always say something, it's not about the time or the amount of hours you spend with your kids, it's about the quality of time. Like you can spend 1 hour a day with your baby and just give them all the love, all the attention, all the care that they need. But of course, the luxury of having more is always a blessing. So good thing that now I'm being able to do my work from my bedroom and just like go down and check on the kids anytime I need.
That's
So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. And Nargis?
For me, it was different because my children are of school age. So there was a lot of logistic involved. And I did what I preached when COVID hit. I asked for help. So I hired a nanny to care for my last one, for my little one, and I divided my attention and my focus to my two older ones. So and I also, in terms of professional commitment, I asked to work remotely, which allowed me to have this kind of flexibility that's needed for every working mom. Because as Dima touched upon it, we need that flexibility to be more efficient as workers. So for me, it's a key point. And so yeah, in terms of technical, I had to homeschool my two older kids, two in a separate room, watching one, giving instruction to the other. So it's a lot of back and forth. And I'm not gonna lie, my husband also helps when possible. So sometimes when I have a big meeting and I say, like, listen, we try to arrange our schedules accordingly. It's a lot of time management and organization skills, but with 3 kids, I think that's something that's I kind of picked up along the way. So definitely a lot of time management, definitely a lot of organization, and also ask for help. And also in terms of professional ways, state your difficulties. I talked about my difficulties to my colleagues, and I asked for help, and I gave solution. Like I was also willing, because work is so important for me, for my mental health, and for the person that I am, that I couldn't give up on my work. So this is something that made me who I am. So I wasn't ready to give up on that just to handle the kids. So I said, listen, I can work a few hours here and there, and I can maybe work at night because my work allows me to. So I try to find solution. There is always a way to make it work. I'm a firm believer that when there's a will, there's a way. So this is what happened for us in COVID. And also, of course, as I said, support of the father, because at the end of the day, he's the father. So I shouldn't have to handle all the responsibility by myself in terms of changes. So he can also tell to his employer that he needs to homeschool his kid as well. So this is also like keep the conversation going between both parents.
Yep, and it all comes down to understanding as well, just understanding and humanizing the things that we're going through as mothers.
Yes.
So thank you all so much as speakers. We've come to the end of